I think this is it. I think I think this is real. Let's just get that out of the way. I I think this is it. And correct me if I'm wrong. If this is real, does that mean that this is the first time that it has actually happened? We've had plenty of stuff leaked, usually like for games, but like when it comes to systems, every single new system comes along. There's always fuzzy pictures of the systems and the controllers, and they're never real. They never end up being real. You know, even with like 3D printing has made all this even more interesting. You know, the Switch had all these ridiculous prototypes with the screens on the controllers, and we've always had this. It's never been real though, as far as like the actual hardware goes. Would this be the first time? I don't know. And I mean, it makes sense. Like we've all just been waiting for the system to go into production. I'm just, you know, nowadays, the internet, social media, it's such a thing. Literally everyone has a phone that can take a picture. Like it just takes one person. We're like, oh, when is that like once they get the Switch 2 into production and really manufacturing it, where's that one person? All it's going to take is one person. That's all it's going to take. Just one random factory worker. And I don't know. I think it's happened. We'll go over why I believe that it is real. I guess more in a bit. First, we have just kind of a series of these, you know, clearly little, I don't even know what you call it. It's a little 3D model, the kind of thing that you would use if you were 3D printing something. And if you want to, you can take a look at that and be like, oh, well, this isn't real. This is just this. This is just the kind of like mock-up that somebody would make and then they would 3D print it. In fact, like the account that this came from, they are like a 3D printing enthusiast. So like they have other stuff like this that's not Switch 2 related. So it's like, okay, it's gotta be fake, right? But no, it'll all kind of come together in a bit. So, so obviously it's just a Joy-Con. It's just a very slightly different Joy-Con. As you will see, it does have a different rail system, suggesting that the rumors were true, that instead of like being on a regular rail where it slides on, it's on some sort of, what they call it, magnetic suction or something. This does seem to kind of confirm that, how it kind of like slots in and then attaches in some different way, which sounds great. Sounds a lot better than sliding on and off. That was prone to wear and failure and whatnot. But yeah, for the most part though, it's, you know, same buttons and everything. Just everything is just a little bit sleeker, just kind of nicer. Everything is a little bit more flush, a little rounder. That's nice, but same, more or less same. Everything else. Here on the back of the Joy-Con, you see that it has a much beefier release button. It almost looks like a button that you can, I mean, I don't think it will be, but it's big enough that it could be. Just seems to be a much easier way to get the Joy-Con off, which I guess is cool, I suppose. There you go. There's on the other one. And then you get the system itself. It mostly just looks like a Switch OLED, you know, with the foldy backy thing in the back. Yeah, and you can see there, the Joy-Cons just kind of like they slot in rather than sliding on, and I think that's fine. That's terrific. I don't know why there two separate ones here. Is it just comparing to the? Yeah, it must be comparing to the original because that one slides on like that. So it seems to be bigger. It seems to be a bit bigger, which is surprising. I thought it was going to be thicker. I feel like most rumors were kind of suggesting that. I thought they would go a little thicker, kind of Steam Deck style. But it seems to just kind of be bigger and wider, which is going to make it less portable, which I guess won't be as much of a problem if later they have a more portable option, but whatever, getting ahead of ourselves here. That's significantly bigger. That would be really surprising. If it ends up being that big. That is big. That is really large. And then, okay, a little more detailed here. It seems that there's, USB-C ports on the bottom and the top, which would be very, very nice, because obviously the one on the bottom is the one that they want to use in the dock, but it stinks only having the bottom port. It makes it harder to charge when you're using it. So if it's true, there's one on the bottom and on the top, that would be very, very helpful. Unexpected, but very much appreciated. I wouldn't think that they would. Maybe it's just because I've not seen a device with 2 ports on it before. I just, you know, usually if it's just like a small handheld device, you just have the 1 port. So I don't know if they threw an extra one on there just to make it easier. That'd be cool. Get the whole system here. It's just more sleek. Everything is nice and flush and sleek and nice. You can see the bigger buttons there. And another really nice view of the top. Yep, another one right there. Looks more or less the same, but better. They've even got it here on the left. Yeah, makes sense. And again, this is just like a model. This is the sort of thing that anybody, and especially nowadays, anybody can create something like this. They can even 3D print something like this. So all by itself, this doesn't quite do it. I wouldn't believe it. But what do we normally not have? It's solid pictures. I mean, sometimes we do get the pictures, you know, like with the Switch, they can 3D print it and they can make it look realistic. But having like all of these specs and all of the previous rumors and having a picture, that's pretty good. I think it's pretty convincing. And this is not just some like pristine 3D printed thing that somebody just threw together and took one picture of. This seems to be like a, you know, I don't know if it's a dev model or a dev kit or anything like that, or maybe a tester for manufacturing, but this one seems to have been put through a lot of wear and tear. This seems to be something that someone has been doing some real work on. And people are looking at this and they're seeing, I mean, it seems legit. They're looking at all these, they're like, oh yeah, that's the card slot, that's this, that's that. You know, people who are way more technically knowledgeable than I am. You can find some, they can see what it all is and it all makes sense. I'll just say that. It's not just some random circuit board of just some random thing. This seems to be a Switch. Not just the previous one, it seems to be like a new one. And here you can see the new controller. It's got this magnetic suction system. It looks completely legit to me. And then you come over here, another solid photograph image that is like these. It's like it's like these, except IRL, except for real life. That just seems to be a new Joy-Con right there. That really legitimately just seems to be a new Joy-Con. I think this is it. I think it's real. I think we're looking at the Switch 2 here. And again, yeah, that would be surprising. And yet not surprising. It's surprising that it took this long for one of these hardware leaks to end up being real. But then, at the same time, like, of course someone leaked it. Of course somebody grabbed some images and threw them our way. Yeah, I don't know, just... It's just weird. I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird seeing it. I think I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer. Kind of spoiled, but at the same time, it's not, though. Like, if any system was gonna get leaked, I'm glad it's this one, because it's the least interesting Nintendo hardware we've ever seen. It really is just a Switch 2. And I'm happy about that. I think that's exactly what this needed to be. But it's just kind of that. It's just kind of a nicer Switch. The surprising things are like the Joy-Con rails and maybe the size. And beyond that, it's just a Switch. It's a bigger, nicer Switch. And I'm pleased. I mean, the big size, it does cut down on just handheld ability. I think I do prefer thicker. At the same time, this will be better for like heat and such. So yeah, I don't know. So then this also comes with some specs, some technical specifications. And once again, other people who are smarter than me have been able to decipher this. And the bits I do understand. 12 gigs of RAM, which is cool. The original Switch had 4. So yeah, that's a pretty good upgrade there. And 256 gigs of internal storage, which is nice. Original Switch had 32. Just like absolutely nothing. So, you know, it's going to fill up a lot faster. The games are going to be a lot bigger. But that's still not bad. I'd say that's in line with what it should have been. So that's good. And then just in terms of power, they're saying more or less it's about a PS4 handheld and then about a PS4 Pro docked, which I'd say is perfect. I'd say that's exactly what it needs to be. You know, if it's as powerful as a PS4, that means that it can get all these like cross-gen games, because even 4 years into this generation, we still have barely any exclusives, meaning that Nintendo will be able to get in on most multiplats. They will have a system that is powerful enough to run just about anything other than pure this generation exclusives, of which there are very, very few. And even then, the graphical jump has not been that big. People they'll probably have a much easier time porting stuff to Switch 2 than they did to Switch. The power jump is so much smaller. I mean, on paper, it's bigger, but like as far as like what the games are actually achieving graphically, I don't know, whatever. I don't know anything about anything else. But PS4 level handheld, and then PS4 Pro docked, that just means that when you're docked to the TV, you're just getting better performance. I mean, that was it. PS4 Pro, PS5 Pro. They're not making your games necessarily look that much better. You're just getting more out of it. You're getting a higher resolution, you know, all the fancy DLSS upscaling and whatnot. All that's going to kick in when you have it docked. And yeah, so yeah, it's basically perfect. It's enough power to suit everyone's needs, with more juice when you hook it to the TV, which will help upscale games and make them look better on your big nice 4K TV, which regular Nintendo Switch games don't look great. They don't look great on a nice big 4K TV. They really don't. So yeah, power-wise, I'd say that's perfect. I trust that the specs are real. They line up with some previously leaked specs, so it all just seems very reasonable. It seems very reasonable, and that's making me think that it is probably true. And it all works perfectly fine. We have a better Joy-Con that attaches better. It's kind of eliminating the whole rail problem of Joy-Cons getting loose and getting stuck and all that stuff. Power-wise, it seems to be perfect. Everything is lining up pretty much perfectly, assuming that this is all real, which I think it is. So we will see when Nintendo really does reveal the thing. Are we going to get more random factory workers dropping more bits and pieces on us? Because, I mean, if we start getting more from other sources and they're all pointing to the same thing, the same design, then I think we are, yeah, that's going to be it. We're there. We have it. We're going to be pretty much sure. But yeah, we'll see. Nintendo, we've got all those recent rumors. They've shot a commercial. They're planning all this stuff. They're talking to devs. We still don't know when the reveal is coming, but it's got to be coming soon. This stuff is making the rounds. If anything, they should probably reveal it now, just to get ahead of all this. You know, like it's in production. It's getting manufactured. They're making these things and putting them in boxes. More leaks are coming. It's only a matter of time. So if anything, just to get ahead of that, you might as well just reveal the darn thing to us now. Just get it done. Get us talking about the real official versions instead of just passing this silly stuff around. What do you think? You think this is real? Is this real? Is this the Switch 2? Or is this fake? Is this a very, very elaborate, very believable fake? I mean, just look at that. It's a Switch 2. We're looking at it. We're looking at its guts right now. We can see the new controller and everything. Like, they have been doing work on this thing. It's all scuffed up and everything. That's a Switch 2 right there. Is it real? Is it real? Do you think so? What about you? What about you? No, I'm talking to you now. You. Is that real? Is this a thing? Are we looking at it right now?